Okay, so this is what I really wanted to talk about. What is going on in the Commonwealth of Virginia? Oh my goodness. Jeez Louise. Okay, so you all have heard by now, I'm sure, it's been the news in the news cycle for the last 10 days or so, that the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, it was found that he had taken this picture and posted this picture in his medical school yearbook where he was dressed, well, there are two people in the picture. One was dressed up as blackface and one was dressed in a Ku Klux Klan outfit. First question, where do you get a Ku Klux Klan outfit? My husband asked that. He was like, where do people get that? I was like, I don't know. Where would you get that? I mean, do they sell it on eBay? On Amazon? I don't know. First question. All right. So anyway, so he first came out and apologized for being in the picture. He said he was one of those two people. God, I hope it's the blackface. Never thought I'd say that. But then the next day or two, he came back and said, no, it wasn't him. He didn't remember taking the picture or whatever. And in his defense, I just stumbled upon my medical school yearbook. I was cleaning up the place, just stumbled upon it. And I realized I'd never looked in it. Maybe one time, but I didn't know what was in there, and I had a couple of pictures in there of me. And I was flipping through with bated breath, God, praying to God that none of my colleagues had done anything like this. Thankfully, nobody had dressed up in blackface or in the dreaded, yet apparently easily acquired, Ku Klux Klan outfit. Thankfully, none of my colleagues did that. I don't even know what I would have done had I found that one of them had. I'm not sure. It would have been awful, isn't it? Anyway. So yeah, so then we were all excited about, oh, then there's this, black lieutenant governor. His name is Justin Fairfax. And everyone was like, oh, that'd be nice. That'd be great. He could ascend to the throne. And then allegations of his sexual misbehavior, sexual assault came out. We were like, okay, it was sexual assault. He admitted it started off consensual. Even the survivor, the victim, said it started off consensual and then went south, literally. But then there recently came out some allegations of rape, which puts this in a whole different category. And then the attorney general came out and said he too had worn some blackface. Second question, does everybody wear blackface, or has everyone done blackface? Was that a thing in the 80s? And why shoe polish? Why not just some brown foundation? They sell that. Anyway, I'm not giving anybody hints on how to do blackface. But anyway, the attorney general came out and said he'd done it too. And so folks are just dropping like flies. The administration and leadership of Virginia are dropping like flies at the rate we're going. The local PTA president is going to be the governor of Virginia because nobody's going to be left. Anyway, so I don't even really want to deal with that issue as much as I want to deal with the issues that we have in this country with, forgiveness and redemption, and taking things as opportunities to teach and to educate, when someone is being malicious and when someone is just ignorant. And is it okay to judge actions that people did years ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago, with standards of today? That's what I want to talk about. Is that okay? Because I've seen a lot of that where people will say something 10, 15 years ago and we still hold them accountable for it today. Yes, it might have been stupid. It might have been off color. It might have been politically incorrect now, but was it then? So apparently in the 80s, putting on some blackface was not a big deal. It was still probably boneheaded, dunderheaded, stupid, because these were grown men. And people are like, oh, well, he was young. No, he wasn't young. When you graduate from medical school, you're 26, you're 27, you're a grown human being. I mean, when I was graduating from medical school, I took a year off between college and medical school, so I was 27, I think. Yes. At 27, I'd been married for 3 years and had a whole kid I was responsible for, okay? So no, it's not youthful indiscretion. So let's not just say this, but it's stupid. Adults do stupid things. So when do we use forgiveness and say that the person has grown, that they've changed, that they've wisened up, that they would no longer do things like that? When do we do that? And is it okay? Because we seem like we're kind of inconsistent. So, Megyn Kelly also made a comment about blackface. She was fired. Kevin Hart came under fire recently because he had a joke maybe 10 or 15 years ago where it was a joke against the LGBTQ community. It was, an off-color joke. It was disparaging. He didn't commit a crime. He's a comedian, and we give them some latitude, and we let them get away with some things. But he got called for that, and he apologized. And he was offered the Oscar gig, but then they took it back, or he reneged because he said he didn't want to draw attention. And then he went on the Ellen DeGeneres' show. And Ellen DeGeneres is a you know, she's a lesbian and she puts it out there. We all know that. And she forgave him and said, listen, and he said, I've grown. That was me then. I'm a different person now. And I apologize for those statements. I don't feel that way about the community. You know, I love it, whatever he said. And people got mad at Ellen because Ellen offered forgiveness. And people got mad at Ellen for offering forgiveness. When did we become that country where we get mad at people for forgiving people? You know, I don't know. Because if that's the case, we're going to have to dig up a whole bunch of people and start charging them for stuff. Like everybody in the 60s or 50s who ever beat up somebody gay or somebody black, we now have to dig them up and prosecute them for hate crimes. Hate crimes didn't exist back then. Yeah, maybe you did like a misdemeanor assault or whatever, but it wasn't a hate crime, which is a different offense these days. You know, so I don't know. I think we just need to pause, maybe sometimes ask some questions, look at the body of work that the person has done. Have they evolved? Have they changed? Let some things be teachable moments, and let us all grow from people's past mistakes. Now, crime is crime, all right? So I'm not talking about that. Like if you've raped somebody, then yes, you need to be prosecuted. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. Should we use today's standards to judge things that people have done in the past? Peace and love, folks. Bye.